What is time? Is it the steady ticking of a clock, the movement of the sun across the sky, or the aging of the human body? Or is it something deeper, more elusive, something we take for granted yet never fully grasp? Welcome, fellow seeker of truth, to a journey through the illusion of time. Today, we will venture into realms where past, present, and future dissolve into something timeless. This is not simply a philosophical reflection or a scientific debate. It is a portal to liberation. Prepare yourself. What we're about to explore challenges the very foundations of how we understand existence, because to see through the illusion of time is to take the first step toward escaping it. From birth, we are taught that time flows like a river, from past to present to future. We see it in history books, calendars, and aging faces. But what if this flow is just a narrative, a useful one, but not a true one? The ancient mystics, from the Vedic sages of India to Zen monks in mountain temples, whispered a profound truth. Time is not what it seems. Linear time is a story the mind tells, a framework we place upon reality to make sense of change. But reality itself, it does not tick, it does not move, it simply is. Einstein once said, "The distinction between past, present, and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion." And in the realms of quantum physics, the idea of time breaks down entirely. At the subatomic level, particles behave in ways that defy chronological sequence. Cause and effect blur. What if this illusion is not just a curiosity, but a cage? In Greek mythology, Kronos was the god of sequential time, devouring his children, one by one, as moments devour our lives. This is the time we measure, track, and fear. It is the time that ages us, the time that rushes us, the time we feel we never have enough of. This is the mechanical time of deadlines and schedules, of missed opportunities and future anxieties. We become prisoners of this concept, always running towards something or running from something, rarely still, rarely present. But what if there is another kind of time, a sacred time? The Greeks had a name for it too, kairos, the timeless moment of now, the space where meaning lives, where eternity touches the present. This is the key, the way out. Have you ever been so immersed in a moment that time seemed to stop? Not metaphorically, but truly, where something in you fell silent and the world shimmered with a kind of impossible clarity. Maybe it happened as you watched the ocean inhale and exhale beneath a sky heavy with stars, or in the arms of someone you love, when nothing else existed but the feeling of presence. Or maybe it came in stillness, during meditation, in nature, in solitude, when the thoughts faded and what remained was unspeakable peace. In those rare and sacred moments, the ticking stops. There is no past, no future, only this, only now. This is the eternal now, the true reality beneath the illusion. Not a sliver between past and future, but the vast field in which all things appear, timeless, boundless, always here. It is not something we enter, it is something we fall back into, when the mind quiets, when the grasping ceases, when the veil of thought lifts. The mystics have spoken of it for centuries. In every tradition, by every name, they return to the same truth, that past and future are only thoughts. Useful perhaps, but ultimately shadows. The past is a recollection filtered through emotion and story. The future is a vision born of desire or fear. Neither exists outside the mind. They are not real in the way this moment is real. The now is not a concept. It is direct, undeniable. It is not something to understand. It is something to be. It cannot be owned, captured, or repeated. It is the space where everything happens, yet it itself never changes. Like the sky that holds every weather, the now is untouched by the passing of time. Eckhart Tolle, in The Power of Now, offers a simple but piercing insight. Time isn't precious at all, because it is an illusion. What you perceive as precious is not time, but the one point that is out of time, the now. That is precious indeed. And it is precious, because it is the only thing that ever truly is. To awaken is to return to the now, not as an idea, but as an experience. It is to step out of the river of becoming and stand on the shore of being. It is to remember who and what we truly are, beyond the story of time, beyond identity, beyond striving. The now does not demand anything of you. It asks only that you notice it, that you rest, even for a moment, in its stillness. In that rest, something ancient stirs, not a new state to be achieved, but the recognition of a truth that has always been waiting beneath the noise, that you are not the passing hours, but the awareness in which they pass. And when you taste this, even for a breath, it changes everything. Because once you know the now, even faintly, you begin to sense that all the suffering caused by time, the regret, the fear, the constant reaching, comes not from life itself, but from our forgetting. Forgetting that we were never moving through time. That time was only ever moving through us. And so, the invitation is simple and endlessly profound. Be here, not as a means to an end, not to become enlightened, not to escape time. Be here because it is what is real, because it is what you are. And in this eternal now, discover the only truth that matters. You are already home. Modern physics is caught up with ancient wisdom. In Einstein's theory of relativity, time is not a constant. It bends, it stretches, it warps depending on speed and gravity. An astronaut in orbit ages more slowly than someone on Earth. Time is not absolute. Quantum physics goes even further, suggesting that particles can affect each other instantaneously, across vast distances, defying our linear understanding of causality. Physicist Carlo Rovelli, in his book The Order of Time, writes, "The world is not a collection of things, it is a collection of events. There is no now that is common to the entire universe." So what is real? Not time as we understand it. Reality, stripped of the illusion, may be timeless. Delving deeper, some interpretations of quantum mechanics propose that time emerges from relationships, not the other way around. It's not a container holding events, but a concept arising from the interaction of those events. In other words, time may be a convenient narrative we create to make sense of change and sequence, but the fabric of existence itself could be timeless and eternal. Even at the cosmic scale, time begins to unravel. The Big Bang Theory suggests time and space had a beginning, but what came before? Some physicists argue that before is a meaningless question because time itself did not exist. Instead, there may be a deeper reality where the distinctions of past, present, and future vanish. This scientific exploration echoes the insights of sages and mystics who have long known. Time is a veil, beautiful, useful, but ultimately unreal. When we grasp this, it shifts everything. If time is not fundamental, then so too can our experience of it be flexible, fluid, even transcendent. And if time is not real, what does that mean for us? The Buddha taught that suffering arises from attachment, and time is the subtlest attachment of all. It is the veil so thin we don't even see it, yet so vast it colors our entire experience of reality. We speak of time as if it were something outside of us, ticking clocks, rising suns, fading days. But in truth, time is a construct spun by the mind, woven from memory and stitched with imagination. Time in the mind is memory and anticipation. It is the ego's anchor. Without time, there is no story to hold on to, no identity that says, I was this, I will be that. The past is where we bury our pain, our pride, our name. The future is where we plant our fears and hopes like seeds in a garden we may never walk through. And in between, a flicker, a moment, a now that we are taught to overlook. But this illusion is not neutral. It shapes who we think we are. The mind, terrified of stillness, creates motion. Terrified of silence, it tells a story. And what is the story of ego, if not a timeline? A beginning, a middle, and an end. A protagonist moving through a plot that must constantly be justified, protected, and advanced. Time is the stage upon which the ego performs its play, and without it, the play dissolves. The mind resists timelessness because it fears the loss of self. But what if that loss is liberation? There is a deep stillness that lives beneath thought, beneath name, beneath the ticking of the mind's clock. In rare moments, we feel it, a sudden hush during meditation, a pause between breaths, a sense that everything is happening all at once and also not at all. Meditation is the practice of stepping outside of time. Each breath brings us back to now. Each still moment is a rebellion against the tyranny of becoming. To meditate is to stop running, not because you've reached the finish line, but because you've realized there never was one. Time only exists so long as the mind is grasping. And when the grasping stops, there is just this. The mind, habituated to constructing futures and replaying pasts, resists this surrender. It calls it boredom or emptiness or even death. But what dies is not the self. It is the illusion of the self, the scaffolding of identity built on time's fragile frame. In that death, something greater is born, presence. When we silence the mind's endless narration, we glimpse the truth. We were never separate, never lacking, never going anywhere. We were always here, not in the story, not in the timeline, but in the awareness that watches it all arise and dissolve. And here, this moment, this breath, is where the illusion ends and where reality begins. How does one escape the illusion of time? The answer is not to fight time, but to see through it. This illusion cannot be shattered with force, for it is not a wall, it is a veil, thin, subtle, deceptive. Like mist, it dissolves the moment we stop trying to grasp it. And when it dissolves, what remains is startling in its simplicity. This moment, unadorned and infinite. To escape time is not a heroic quest across some cosmic landscape. It is a quiet return to what has never left us. The spiritual path is a return to presence, a radical acceptance of the now. Not the now as a bridge between moments, but the now as the whole of reality, complete, sufficient, eternal. The practice is deceptively simple: to breathe, to observe, to be without judgment. This is not a retreat from life, but a turning toward it with unclouded eyes. It is an act of profound courage to sit without reaching, to exist without projecting. Because everything we have been conditioned to believe insists we must be in motion, must be striving, must be elsewhere. But let go of the need to get somewhere. You are already here. You were never not here. The mind may say, but I need answers. It may say, I need a plan, a purpose, a destination. And still, the now waits patiently, unchanged, unbothered, inviting you to rest in what is, not what should be. Let go of the past. It cannot hold you unless you hold it. The memories, the regrets, the victories, the losses, they are echoes in the mind's chamber, no longer living. To carry them is to walk with shadows. Let go of the future. It is only imagination. No matter how vivid your vision, it is a painting on air. The future does not exist until it becomes now, and by the time it does, it is not what you imagined. What then is left? Surrender to the now, and you become timeless. Not boundless in the sense of endless time, but boundless because you have stepped outside of time's illusion altogether. You are no longer moving forward. You are simply being. And in that being, there is a deep, quiet joy, a stillness that vibrates with life, a sense that everything you were chasing has been within you all along. To escape time is not to transcend humanity, but to reclaim your deepest humanity. To be fully awake, fully alive, fully here. You do not have to wait for enlightenment. You do not have to wait for healing. The doorway to the infinite is always open. It opens with your attention, right here, right now. At the moment of death, time dissolves. What once felt so linear, so structured, so immovable, fades like mist in the morning sun. That ticking metronome of hours and years, so central to life's rhythm, stills. And in its place, something vast unfolds. Not darkness, but spaciousness. Not a void, but a vivid presence without direction or duration. Near-death experiences often speak of this, a flash of every memory, not in sequence, but all at once. A life unfolding like a tapestry viewed from beyond time's thread, no longer woven stitch by stitch, but suddenly seen in its totality. Joys and sorrows, choices and consequences, intertwined beyond judgment, beyond regret. Mystical visions across cultures echo this strange familiarity, the sensation of stepping outside the flow of moments and into a space where everything simply is. The Bardo Thodol, with its luminous teachings, describes the soul as no longer walking forward, but floating in a realm where the structure of time has no foothold. Why? Because time, as we know it, is tied to form, to neurons firing in sequence, to breath cycling in rhythm, to the sun rising and setting across a sky we no longer see once the eyes close. Time is tied to heartbeat and hunger, to calendars and clocks. It lives in the body's measurements and the brain's comparisons. When the senses cease and the body returns to silence, there is nothing left to count. Time collapses, not as an ending, but as an unveiling. And what remains when time falls away? Eternity. Not the endless stretch of future, but the pure state of presence that was always hidden behind the veil. The eternal is not forever, as we imagine it. It is outside the framework of before and after. It is a presence so complete, so absolute, that it has no need to move. This is why many traditions teach that death is not an end, but a sacred crossing. A passage where the soul, freed from the narrowing lens of temporal identity, can finally see with clarity. The veil thins, the clock stops, and in that stillness, the truth is no longer whispered, it is sung. Some will tremble before that silence, mistaking it for emptiness. Others will recognize it instantly, as though returning to a home they never quite remembered leaving. In that space beyond time, we are no longer actors in a play, but awareness itself, the light behind all masks, the listener behind all stories. But we do not need to wait for death. We can prepare now. Not by fleeing life, but by deepening into it, by shedding the illusion a little more with each breath, with each moment of stillness, with each time we refuse to chase the next thing. We prepare not by mastering time, but by loosening our grip on it, by remembering that the eternal is not far, not distant, not hidden. It is here, waiting beneath the surface of every now. And when the body dissolves and time unravels like a dream at dawn, may we greet that unveiling not with fear, but with recognition. We have been here before. We never truly left. To live beyond time is not to abandon the world. It is to engage it more deeply. This freedom is not found in retreating to mountaintops or vanishing into the void. It is not a denial of life's responsibilities or a rejection of its rhythms. It is an invitation to see through the veil while still moving within it, to walk through the world not as a prisoner of time, but as a participant in its dance, aware that the music is an illusion, and yet still moved by its beauty. When you walk through a forest with presence, the trees seem to glow, not with magic, but with meaning. Each leaf, each breath of wind becomes a sacred encounter. You are no longer racing through life to reach a destination. You are here, truly here, and so the world reveals itself in its fullness. When you speak to a loved one from the heart, time disappears. The moment becomes thick with connection. Words fall away, and what remains is presence, raw, unguarded, and true. You are not remembering the past or planning the future. You are simply being, together. When you create, whether through art, through silence, through the building of something that never existed before, time loosens its grip. There is no clock in the act of true expression. There is only flow. Something deeper moves through you, something timeless, and for a moment, you are not the doer at all. You are the space through which creation moves. When you love, when you forgive, when you gaze at the sky and feel the quiet majesty of existence, you are outside of time. This is freedom. Not freedom from life, but freedom within it. You still meet your appointments. You still pay your bills. You still navigate the agreements of the world. But they are no longer your master. You no longer live in fear of time slipping away, because you have found the place where time cannot reach you. Here, now. There is a rhythm to this kind of living, a deeper pulse beneath the ticking of seconds. It moves slower than the world expects, and yet somehow, it brings you closer to everything. You begin to see that what matters most is not how long something lasts, but how fully you are present while it happens. A brief moment of true awareness can hold more depth than a year spent sleepwalking. To live beyond time is to remember that presence is the doorway to eternity. That joy is not found in some distant future, but in this exact breath, when you are not wishing to be elsewhere. This is not about escape. It is about return. Return to the simplicity you knew as a child, before the calendar was etched into your bones. Return to the silence between your thoughts. Return to the awe that can bloom in an ordinary moment when seen without the haze of hurry. Time will still move around you. The days will pass. The seasons will turn. But you will be anchored in something deeper, not unmoved, but unshaken, not untouched, but aware. To live beyond time is to walk through the world like a soul who remembers where they came from. It is to carry eternity in your chest. To know that every moment, no matter how fleeting, is a chance to touch the infinite. And when you live like this, even time begins to serve you, not as a master, but as a gentle reminder. You are here. You are now. You are free. Who are you? Beyond time. You are not your age, not your past, not your future. You are the awareness in which time appears, the witness to the unfolding, the stillness beneath the movement. The Upanishads call it the Atman, the timeless self. Buddhism calls it the nature of mind. Mystics call it the soul. It is that which watches thoughts, feels feelings, and remains when all else changes. To identify with this self is to be free. To remember this self is to awaken. So, is time real? Yes, in the world of form, in the play of experience, but beneath it, beyond it, through it, it is not. Time is a useful fiction, a lens, not the light, a map, not the territory. To escape time is not to disappear, but to become fully present, to awaken. And in doing so, you touch the eternal. You see that everything you seek is already here, waiting in the now. As Ram Dass once said, be here now, because now is all there ever truly is. If this exploration stirred something in you, if the veil lifted even slightly, share this journey with others. Subscribe to the channel and let us know in the comments, what does time mean to you? Have you ever experienced a moment outside of it? Together, let us remember the truth. That time is the illusion, and you are the timeless.